Well, over the last weekend, TJ Perenara, the All Black, made a controversial political statement, but it was on the rugby field in front of the world watching. Remember when Israel Folau made a controversial statement on his private social media? Let's check out the difference in reaction. And you know what? TJ Perenara has all the makings of a future left-wing Member of Parliament. Also in this episode, we'll show you just how the legacy media tripped over their own logic in trying to defend Perenara. So for those who watched the All Blacks versus Italy match last weekend, TJ Perenara was once again drawing attention to himself. He used his final haka for the All Blacks to make a political statement on the controversial Treaty Principles Bill. Now, many online have commented in support of the All Blacks move, but many didn't, arguing politics and sports do not gel. So rather than the All Blacks haka uniting the nation, which it usually does, it was unfortunately used by TJ Perenara to further divide the nation on what is a contentious political issue. And he knew that. Now, here's what he said during the haka, and this is the Sky Sports coverage. Yeah, and then this is what was actually put up on the New Zealand Rugby page, the official All Blacks channel. Yeah, it still sends chills down your spine when you watch it. But many people, and including New Zealand Rugby, obviously weren't too happy with TJ's grandstanding. In fact, ex-Labour MP Louisa Wall said that he should not be censored. He should use his voice. And she said that's because, well, she agrees with everything he says. He's pro-LGBT, pro-Black Lives Matter. He must be respected. And she said it was a form of censorship to exclude the phrase from the video. And she said the whole institution of the All Blacks supported what he did. And what I'm hoping is that the institution of New Zealand Rugby supports what they have done in using their voice on the international stage. She said, when I look at him as a sports person who uses his platform, my reading of his use of that platform is for the public good. He's advocated for LGBT rights, Black Lives Matter, our wahine, someone we should all respect. Yeah, everyone should be free to speak. It's for the public good, remember? Oh, except Israel Folau. No, according to the same person, Louisa Wall, according to the arbiter of free speech, his comments could kill someone.
Louisa Wall has blasted Wallabies player Israel Folau, saying his recent homophobic comments could kill someone. The openly lesbian former sportswoman is disgusted by the fullback social media post that suggested gay people would go to hell unless they repented to God.
Yeah, you got to love that freedom of speech. It suddenly changes, doesn't it? Now, look, let's be clear. TJ Perenara is absolutely entitled to hold his own opinion and to express it. But he used the platform of leading a team in a haka with making a personal political statement. Whatever sides of the Treaty Principles Bill you fall, and you may agree with what he said, but when top sports people use the international sporting stage to make political statements, there's going to come a time when you will totally disagree with their viewpoint. As an individual, sure, but not when leading a team who may not all agree with him, and not on behalf of a nation who we know have differences of opinion on this, rightly or wrongly. Look, here's what Heather Duplessis-Allen from News Talk ZB had to say about it.
TJ is entitled, like we all are, to have a political opinion. And no one's going to be surprised that this is his political opinion, that he supports the hikoi, because he publicly supported Ihumātao, he publicly supported the Wellington women's team when they did their anti-government haka. Given how intense this treaty principles and hikoi debate is, I reckon a few of them will actually feel quite annoyed at TJ, presuming that he represents the views of the country with that haka, because he doesn't. And TJ might find, based on the most recent polling available to us, that almost twice as many Kiwis actually like David Seymour's principles idea, and therefore not the haka. So for TJ, well-known anti-meat, anti-government chap, no problem at all, because he's heading off on a new career, right? For New Zealand Rugby, fighting to retain its audience, and for Scott Robertson, fighting to prove himself as the new coach. Big mistake.
Now, it's not the first time TJ Perenara has made it all about himself, and it won't be the last. But mark my words, I predict there's a very good chance that he'll be standing for a left-wing political party, like the Greens, or Labour, or Te Pāti Māori when he retires from rugby. Now, I say that for a number of reasons. Firstly, he has one rule for himself and one rule for others. And of course, Heather from Newstalk ZB has already hinted at that arrogance about using the haka to make his own political statement. But while he wants his say, he doesn't think others should speak. When Israel Folau quoted some Bible verses on his private Instagram account, not on the rugby field while the eyes of the rugby world were watching. No, Israel's private account. Not on behalf of a whole team or on behalf of a nation, just comments on Israel's personal account. Well, as you can see, TJ was quick to pounce and condemn. According to TJ, you shouldn't be allowed to speak if what you say puts people in a box. But according to this interview, his politics and sports and his speaking up is okay.
The impact that says, if I say things that oppress or like put people into a box, I don't think that's okay.
Okay, so no, you can't put people into a box, even though he had his say. Well, can sports and politics mix? Can sports people speak up according to their values?
A lot of people say, politics and sport shouldn't mix, or, All Blacks should just play rugby. And what do you say to that? Like, do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I think it's, without sounding too harsh, but I think it's a naive and maybe even ignorant sort of mindset. I don't think your career path should determine what values you can speak up on.
So some people will have different views, but what TJ says, well, he reckons comes from a place of love, but not Israel's love, according to Israel's love for Scripture.
Some people will have different views on what I say, but I know that what I'm saying is from a place of love, and it's from a place of trying to be, a good person.
Israel's not come knocking on your door, be like...
No, he hasn't. And I've not spoken to Israel face to face outside of it. I'm happy to hold the conversations. Like I've said, those are conversations where people are on opposing sides of it, as long as the conversation isn't about like me trying to prove you wrong or being like, man, you have to believe what I believe. It's about me trying to learn why you think the way you think, and then explaining the way I think and why I think that way. And if we come to the end of that conversation and we still disagree on it, cool. Like at least I've grown and I understand why you believe what you believe.
I'm not sure he realised that what he says is correct, but that's why he's hypocritical to shut down others. But see, it's not the first time that TJ Perenara has said that you can say what's on your heart as long as he agrees with it. One of the big stories in March earlier this year was about the Hurricanes women's team who did a haka that criticised the coalition government, labelling it redneck. Yeah, they used an altered haka with the leader calling out the phrase that I won't attempt to say because I won't do it justice, but it translates to puppets of this redneck government. So the Hurricanes team expressed their opinion. Are they bigoted, hateful, wrong, inappropriate, targeting a certain group? Is it hate speech? Well, you be the judge of that. But, TJ said absolutely yes. Those women should be able to express themselves. You should be able to express yourself. But like the Hurricanes, isn't Israel Folau entitled to express himself? Can he quote from scripture, which is his source of truth? I mean, he's speaking from love about the destiny of people, even if it might offend someone. Well, not according to TJ Perenara. But actually, it's not only TJ Perenara that's inconsistent on free speech, but it's also the media. Let me show you how the worst breakfast show in the whole world, TVNZ's Breakfast, has got themselves all tangled. So this is their response to Israel Folau quoting a Bible verse on his personal Instagram account. What was it? 3, 4, 5 years ago? Have a watch.
It's freedom of speech turned into hate speech.
Exactly.
I just...
When you're running down a whole group of society, I think.
What do you think?
I try not to let these things get to me because I just try and be really easygoing and carefree, but it is really, really hard to watch people say those kinds of things, especially if you live your life as a really proud gay man. And I'm so sick of people standing behind people keep saying, oh, it's okay, he's allowed to have an opinion. I call bull on that. You cannot continue to stand behind religious views and spout this like bigoted, hateful, homophobic speech. It's really, really...
Oh, yeah. Keep your speech to yourself. Keep your views to yourself. But then another sportsperson calls the government puppets and rednecks. Not on private social media. Nope. In full public and television view. Watch the contrast.
Haka is rolling in, and it is a bit of a mixed bag, but it's interesting. I'm surprised at how many of you say, go for it, girls. You know, politics has a place in sport. If you've got a message to make, it's your choice to do it.
Well, I also, again, want to put into context here that it was done via a haka. Haka has always been a place for Māori to express their views, and yes, political views as well. And it's a place to lay down challenges, and that's exactly what these women did. And it took guts for them to do what they did, and now they're being asked to apologise. Now I know, and Daniel, I know you're in this boat as well, where you say sport and politics don't mix. Well, I just think that's complete rubbish. These women have opinions, and they've shown their opinion with this haka. And the captain herself, and I want to quote what she says, I believe that in rugby we have a platform where people watch and listen. Why not use our platform to show our people we will never fold, to tell the government that we're stronger than ever and that we will not back down.
I'm just confused about why they...
That's great, isn't it? I mean, done by a haka can express your views, your political views, just not your biblical views. You know, these women have beliefs and opinions. Well, yep, so did Israel. We have a platform. Why not use our platform? Yep, well, that's what Israel did as well. Now, ironically, the Breakfast team also said, quote, they have social platforms where they can express their views, end quote. Well, it's good to know. I'll let Israel know that. Although, look, they never mention the connection between the Hurricanes team expressing their deeply held beliefs or views and Israel Folau expressing his deeply held beliefs or views. And then, of course, at the weekend, there was TJ Perenara speaking his viewpoint, just like Israel Folau. This time on the pitch, though, to the whole world. How did the world's worst breakfast show react? Well, apparently people can now make statements. It's a turnaround. Have a watch.
Final match for the All Blacks, TJ Perenara, included a message of support for last week's hikoi to Parliament in the haka against Italy. Perenara's last words, toi tu te tiriti o waitangi, translates to honour the treaty or the treaty is enduring. Now, for reaction, we're joined by rugby commentator Fau Wono, Ken Laban, and One News chief correspondent and the president of the TJ Perenara
Grayland branch of the TJ Perenara fan club.
John Campbell.
There's me, my son and the dog.
Join us now. I mean, you know, I mean, given TJ's kind of career and the fact that he's spoken out on things that matter to him, this would be no surprise to you.
No surprise whatsoever. Fauno, were you surprised by this?
No, well, of course, he's not the first All Black to step outside. No. To step outside the square. 1981, when the Springboks were here, you will recall that the incumbent All Black captain at the time, Graham Murray, refused to play against them because of apartheid. Then we had Josh Kronfeld in the 90s. Remember, he had that peace symbol on the side of his headgear, which was a tip against French nuclear testing in the Pacific. And then in more recent times, we had again TJ, Adi Savir and Brad Weber, who made a very public stand against the comments by Israel Folau against the LGBTQ community. Remember, they played in coloured laces.
Oh, lovely. Apparently now, according to the world's worst breakfast show, it's okay to speak up on social issues.
Here's the thinking, is we always talk about sport and politics shouldn't mix, and there's an expectation that our athletes will just stay athletes and that they shouldn't have an opinion when it comes to anything political or societal, etc. Do we need to just get rid of that? We shouldn't actually be saying that anymore?
Well, we've gone past the days of all credit to the opposition and thanking the ladies for the play. And it's good that our players, whatever sport that they play or whatever platform that they have, that they are confident enough and articulate enough to be able to use that platform for good. And that was a good thing that TJ did. Yesterday will be celebrated around the world, and of course on social media he's going to get criticised. But we all know, the key to being abused on social media is to say something intelligent.
The key to being abused on social media is to say something intelligent. Classic. I'll let Israel know that. In his case, it was the key to being abused is to say something scripturally true. Just one more clip.
John Key texted All Blacks Richie McCaw and Dan Carter to drum up support for new flag, a stuff headline from 2016. So sport and politics is always mixed. It's just that when Māori speak out against something, people react in ways that they don't react when the stuff happens.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, John, but Israel Folau isn't Māori. He's Tongan. Okay, but don't let that confuse your argument even further. You can see how the left don't understand free speech. They can't defend it, and they trip themselves up trying to explain their position on it. Anyways, back to TJ Perenara and why he'll make a great left-wing MP. A few years ago, TJ also wore a non-regulation wristband with the inscription Ihu Mātau in solidarity with those protesting at the site of the proposed housing development planned by Fletcher Building. So, yep, he had his say. Oh, and you can have TJ's opinion on Black Lives Matter also. He said, quote, "I firmly stand with Black Lives Matter. I stand with the people who are being affected by it as well," end quote. Oh, but Israel Folau and other Christians, you keep your views to yourself. This might explain why TJ doesn't think Israel Folau should express his opinion. The tolerance only goes one way, doesn't it? Gay and inclusive rugby and LGBT plus youth. And TJ is super supportive of the so-called rainbow community and says the All Blacks embrace diversity and is keen as to see a gay All Black. He also donated and promoted the gay and inclusive rugby team, the New Zealand Falcons. Give a little page, helped them get in the Bingham's Cup bucket, collected for Rainbow Youth and Inside Out, and wore rainbow laces during his next game. He wants to spread the message and empower the LGBTQIA plus community. But don't you go quoting the Bible, eh? You can see why the legacy media absolutely love TJ Perenara. And finally, he's vegan, carbon footprint aware, not too keen on animal farming. Move over Greta Thunberg. I mean, is TJ aware of the carbon footprint of the flight back from Europe? But all Greens are vegan, aren't they?
I guess the simplest way to say it is carbon footprint, like the impact that agricultural farming has on the world's pollution. And I was like, man, how can I justify I care about it if I'm eating meat, effectively? Yeah. And then like animal cruelty was probably the second part of that for me. Over a long period of time, while being vegetarian, which was about 3 years, I started being like, man, I'm still actually contributing to agricultural farming because, yeah, I'm not eating the meat that comes from it, but I'm eating the dairy that comes from it.
Hey, so he believes in free speech. Well, he believes in free speech for the guy on the right, but not for the guy on the left, just for his side. He's also pro-LGBT and wants children indoctrinated with the harmful messaging from Rainbow Youth and Inside Out. He virtue signals by wearing rainbow laces. He's pro-Black Lives Matter. Wow, that's gone quiet, hasn't it? He's vegan and a climate alarmist, and he likes to politicise everything, even an All Blacks game. Look, we wish him all the best for the future. But who wants to bet he won't be a Green Party or Te Pāti Māori or Labour MP one day? I reckon he's the perfect candidate.